would have to be made, and definitely well above our pay grade, but everyone wants to see 3 races this weekend. The championship battle we've had all the way through this season has been tremendous. You can see for
doesn't stop us from offering some conjecture, though, does it? It might be above our pay grade, but it won't stop us from passing comment, as Toprak Razgatlioglu gives a little bit of an extra dousing to Jules Cluzel. Well, I said previously I wanted to know where Cluzel had managed to get to. The number 16 tattoo on his back gives it away, if nothing else. And he and Dominic Egerter before him already claps of thunder now, I think I could hear there, either that or something similar. But yeah, all going on at the moment out there, and I just cannot see how we could possibly be racing in this situation. Watching Scott Redding at the moment as he watches on his final weekend, of course, with Ducati before he moves to BMW machinery next season. Wet weather expert Tati Mercado. There you go. There's a rider who'd fancy going out.
Yeah, I think none of these riders are fancying going out in these conditions. Tati's done well this weekend, though, qualifying 10th on the grid. So on the 4th row of the grid, his best qualifying effort of the season. And that's good to see, considering it's been such a tough year for that MIE Honda squad. Good to see that Tati's been lined up for next season as well. And certainly he's been able to make a lot of progress with that bike over the course of this season.
He has indeed. 21 laps we were expecting this afternoon at the teammates as well, Scott Redding and Chaz Davies. See if we can listen in. Yeah, just talking about tyres there.
Yeah, we saw Scott leave the pits. He was out on slick tyres to get to the grid, and that definitely would have been a hairy ride for him as he made his way back around. And he was just saying that to Chaz Davis, and Davis was out there with the interest. We saw a few other riders go out in the full wet tyres, so everyone was a bit undecisive even at that stage. And now, obviously, they all come back to the pits and they'll all have war stories of their siding lap to the grid.
Well, if Tati Mercado dropped that rubber duck on the start-finish straight, then I wonder where it would end up. It would give us a good indication of where the drainage is, at very least, around this new circuit.
Yeah, and that's one of the big question marks for all the riders at this stage, just to try and see exactly what the conditions will be like out on the racetrack. But it is going to be a big ask for all these riders. We'll wait and see what happens as the next while progresses. But decisions are going to have to be made at some point. And certainly for all these riders, they'll come together to try and come to a decision.
We are waiting to hear further news at the moment. Still discussions ongoing behind the scenes as to what might be the outcome of the current weather situation. I think you only need to look out of the window to see that the track conditions certainly not raceable at this current point, but also the weather not easing up to any great extent.
Yeah, and there are a lot of dark clouds still in the area where the weather's been coming from, so that is the challenge. And you can see there for Jonathan Ray just giving Jake, his son there, a little bit of good luck for his football match later on, and then telling Tyler to get himself to bed.
Yeah, Jake and Tyler back to bed because we're clearly completely different time zones and so on. And a reminder that the riders know as well as we do that there can't be any racing in the current conditions. And so go back to bed. You're not going to miss anything. Is pretty much the current answer.
And you can see there Sarah from Yamaha. That must be of the duck at this stage, making its way down pit lane.
I really hope it is. Tati Mercado, we saw, didn't get to see what the message was that he'd attached to the duck as well, but I'm sure there are a fair few stories going on behind the scenes, and I'm sure those are all being captured as well. But at the moment, the story trackside is the driving rain that is going to play its role in the championship showdown. Well, we wished for this, so this is all our fault. It's not quite come down in the way that we expected or the way that we might have hoped. We wanted it to be a dramatic extra situation for the championship contenders to face. They faced pretty much everything else as well as one another over the course of 2021. But it doesn't look as though there's going to be any way for them to face these conditions here this afternoon.
Yeah, and certainly they'll make a decision fairly soon about that. But the riders, you can see, they're in no rush to be out on track. They know exactly what the conditions are like, teams as well. So as it is right now, it's definitely a little bit of a wait for everyone until we're able to find exactly what the schedule is going to be and whether or not we'll be able to get racing today.
close fought and tight World Championship scenario as well. Toprak Razgatlioglu versus Jonathan Ray. 30 points in it ahead of this weekend, the season finale. And, of course, also the Manufacturers' World Championship up for grabs with Yamaha leading the way, but only a mere 16 points in it at the top of the standings. Yamaha ahead of Ducati, with Kawasaki trailing somewhat further back, and would have been in need of big results over the course of this weekend. Well, we're not exactly in uncharted territory if we do get a cancellation here today. The weather conditions are certainly not going to allow us to race as things stand at present. We've been waiting and waiting and hoping, of course, that the weather conditions would improve and that the track, given the temperatures here, would be able to improve and dry out the circuit to some extent. Air temperature has dropped along with the rain that is continuing to fall. So even if it did dry up now, it would take a significant amount of time to clear that number of centimetres of water. You saw the marshals walking around the track with that water up to their ankles earlier on, and no sign at the moment of that changing. We wait for official confirmation, but as you can see along the bottom of your screen, that decision will be taken around 4 p.m. local time. So we will be signing off from the Mandalika International Circuit in a few minutes' time, and then we will wait to hear whether there is any good news to come later on this afternoon. But certainly, on the evidence of what we're seeing at present, it could well be a goodbye for now.
Yeah, you can see Jonathan Ray's gotten back into his civvies now at this stage, and he's not going to be the only rider making the change. As you said, Alex, schedule. So for everyone else, they just need to try and keep themselves calm at this stage and just see what happens at the top of the hour.
Fun and frolics has been the story of this afternoon. A planned race one from the 2021 Pirelli Indonesian round. But we'll have to wait and see when we can finally get underway with the first ever Superbike World Championship race around this venue. For now, at least, it's going to be a goodbye from the Mandalika International Circuit.
You're gonna want to see this. I want to see it.
Come and get it.
I plan to.
Playing Ronaldo. It is Ronaldo. It's 2-1 United.
A lot of people watching this who say, I don't have any passion about anything. What do you say to them?
My advice to them is just get in whatever you can to really do it and enjoy it. That's the first thing.
That's how we're moving. If you don't, that's what we call TS5. Mola TV, I got you right now. Indonesia, everyone turn.
Love Teixeira.
Martin Tibura.
Corey Sandhagen.
Watch all the best UFC fights and more anytime, anywhere
on Mola.
Subscribe now.
Introducing Misha.
Non pensavo che un giorno avrei giocato un mondiale. Pensavo solo alla gioia infinita di inseguire quella palla.
Minacce sotto forma anonimati.
Lo dicevi nelle lettere. Fabio era un pedofilo fa.
Questi messaggi sono stati inviati anche alle società sportive.
Alla sera prima mi arriva un messaggio a me e mi fa: state attenti di mano, a me sparanga.
All'improvviso c'è stato il caos.
Tu sei voluto andare via! Hai messo il fizzanne, sei stato tu!
Mi chiamo Fabio e questa è la mia storia.
come and get it.
I plan to.
Playing Ronaldo. It is Ronaldo. It's 2-1 United.
A lot of people watching this who say, I don't have any passion about